Welcome to Sapphire Music Monday. I'm your host, Keitaro Harada. This episode is made possible by Charles C. Taylor and Samir Nikochevich Charitable Foundation.
Hi, good morning from North Carolina. My name is Andrea Pettigrew. I am Assistant Concertmaster Violin in the Savannah Philharmonic.
Good morning, my name is Brian Seaton. I'm the oboe and English horn player with the Savannah Philharmonic and also married to Andrea Pettigrew.
Fantastic. I'm glad that we get to do interviews with married couple. We have a few in our orchestra, so this is wonderful. Andrea and Brian, how long have you been with Sapphire?
Since the very beginning, since the very first season.
Yeah, I played some concerts before the Phil was actually organized, but I've been playing for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Definitely every concert.
Great. And where are you two originally from?
I'm Canadian. I grew up in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, which is Twin City of Halifax. And I lived there until my early 20s, and then I moved to the United States.
And I grew up just outside of Washington, D.C. in Virginia. And we've moved to North Carolina 6 years ago? 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And how are you two spending your time during these quarantine days?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Let's see. Teaching remotely a lot, especially the first part of the week, Monday to Thursday, and still adjusting to that, I have a lot of little tiny kids as well as teenagers, and they're still spending a lot of their time being fascinated by themselves in the camera. So
it's a little tricky, isn't it, when you can't physically touch their fingers to guide them, and you have to do it over the video. It must be very challenging.
I'm exhausted by the end of some of the days, but there's lots of interesting things going on. The kids are progressing, and I taught a lesson, and one of the little kids was wearing a sloth suit. That was odd, but it worked.
You know, whatever that makes them comfortable.
Exactly. Maybe I'll wear mine.
You have a sloth suit?
And I guess cooking a lot because we have time, and gardening and all the things that come with being domestic and practicing, which is wonderful.
Yeah, great.
We've been very busy. We have a music store, Hendersonville, and so where we work on instruments and rent instruments. So transitioning that into a work at home situation took a lot of time. Getting a lot of projects done ahead of that, or ahead of our stay-at-home order. So, you know, keeping the business running, taking care of the house, taking care of each other. We do grocery shopping for our elderly neighbors. So we've been very busy with lots of projects. Yeah. It's not been a downtime for us at all.
Well, that's wonderful. That I'm glad that you're able to help your neighbors in that way. It's fantastic. So both of you play a role in the orchestra where you play an important role sitting next to divas. Andrew, you sit next to a concertmaster, and then Brian, you sit next to a principal oboe player. You know, both are very much strong personalities in any orchestras around the world. I just want to see and hear from both of you what goes into your mind when you are assisting and sitting next to a principal player.
I'm gonna let you take the first one.
Oh, well, the role of the section oboe player is to support what the principal is doing. So you have to be a little bit of a psychic, a little bit of a mind reader. It helps that Andy and I have a lot of overlap in our education. We have a lot of the same musical ideas. So I have a little bit of intuition as to what he might do in terms of a color change or a dynamic change, or how to balance the oboes within the wind section, things like that. I don't always get it right, but fortunately, Andy and I have been working together for a long time, and we have really, really wonderful professional and personal relationship, and we will just say what to do, and it's never been it's always been a really rewarding experience.
You know, with the second oboe, you're really not really an assistant position, but it's mainly your part is as individually important as the first oboe part. And the wind sound, to me, I'm always very it makes me happy when the second players, the flute 2, oboe 2, clarinet 2, and the bassoon 2 are prominent and pushing their sound out forward, because you are the inner harmony. You are the ones that make the wind sound interesting.
Sure. And then when I'm on English horn, mostly for solos, is when composers are on English horn, they want to hear that color. So I do get to come out of the texture and you know, show my own artistry on that instrument, which is, I always look forward to that.
Yeah, most definitely. And you play such a beautiful English horn, so it's always a joy to hear you play.
Thank you very much.
Andrea, tell me about you sitting next to Sinisha.
Well, we could probably spend the whole interview with me waxing poetic about Sinisha. He is a wonderful violinist, a really good human. He's a musician's musician, which I guess you would know from dealing with him already. So in terms of the concertmasters I have worked with, he's pretty low maintenance. There are certain things that I know that he prefers, and I can spend an entire rehearsal beating myself up about a missed page turn and things like that, because you just want to do everything you can to support the person next to you. But he is he's such a musical violinist that he elevates me and everyone around us. I'm not sure that exactly answers your question, but I love sitting with him. I don't always love the stress, but when we gel, it's very rewarding. And I'm really excited to hear him play Sibelius in the fall.
What I've noticed in the concerts that we've done together is that when you're with Sinisha, with the two of you, you really magnify the gesture, and it's communicated very freely to the rest of your section. Oftentimes, I sometimes see the concertmaster working really too hard and not allowing the assistant concertmaster to also help relay the bowing and the length of the bow and articulation to the section. But I feel that you two really understand each other, and you just freely tell that. I feel the people in the back of the section can really understand, not just through Sinisha, but also from you.
Sinisha has been really encouraging about that too. He was really clear at the beginning that he wanted a partner as far as the first stand goes. And I think just the logistics of the first stand, the concertmaster can very often get buried physically behind the second stand. And so it was good for Sinisha to encourage me to do that, because otherwise I'd probably be sitting there like a little soldier, not moving.
So you mentioned the Sibelius concert. What particular concert, both of you, are you looking forward to next season?
Well, there's a lot of great gems on next season. The Brahms Piano Concerto No. 2, such an incredible piece. We're doing the premiere with Robin.
Right.
One of the things that I love Messiah. I love listening to
Me
it.
too. I love Messiah.
There's so much intensity in that piece. There's so much drama and color and all this, but getting to play it as an oboe player, we play the overture and we play the arias. I'm sorry, we play the overture and the choruses, but not the arias. So I get to be a performer for half the piece, but I get to be an audience member for the other half of the piece that I'm not playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really
a massage therapist for the rest of the weekend.
But it's really it's really fun. I mean, it's like, you know, to experience the music both as an audience and as a performer,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the same program.
Well, definitely the oboe player, the trumpet player, and the timpani player is sort of, you know, you could kind of be on vacation apart from the couple pieces that you play. The violin is working two and a half hours nonstop. So it's such a great piece, though. Andrea, tell me about what piece, what concert in particular that you're looking forward to next year.
Well, certainly the Sibelius. I'm also looking forward to the concert that opens with the
Augusta Reed Thomas. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I done a tiny little bit of her chamber music, but not very much else. And I'm excited to play that piece. Not just Gina, me too.
What is up with the Sibelius violin concerto? I talked to Sinisha about this too, but why is it such you know, iconic piece for the violin, the Sibelius violin concerto?
I'll let you answer that one.
Oh, thanks. It's just there's so much to it, so much meat to it. Actually, the only thing I find frustrating about it is that he wrote these two really beautiful themes that I like a lot, especially the very first one, and he doesn't repeat very much, actually. I keep waiting for more of it to come back. Maybe it would then be too much, but I keep waiting for it to repeat itself. Fantastic. I love that piece, and I can't wait to hear Sinisha play it.
It's one of those pieces that seems to be bigger than the sum of its parts. It's like it's bigger than the performer. It's bigger than what's on the page. It takes on this whole new universe of sound and color. Really magical. Yeah,
I agree.
How about you? Do you have a favorite for next year?
For me, I wouldn't say I have one concert that I have a favorite. I structured the entire season so that we have an opportunity to explore different kinds of repertoire, from the Baroque to the contemporary. And then I did this on purpose because I want to know what the Savannah Philharmonic sound is. I want to know what our musicians are capable of and how they want to express. So by playing various types of repertoire, we'll get a good grasp of what we're really good at and where we need some work. And then in order for us to build a sound, it's going to take a few seasons, but I wanted to do repertoire that really allows us to do, play colors. For example, the Poulenc Gloria has a lot of colors, to the Shostakovich 5 that really you have to bring your inner drama outward or else it doesn't translate to the audience. Really going into your soul and being able to translate the notes into the story behind the music, that requires that kind of storytelling is interesting for me. And then I want to see how far and how much risk the musicians are willing to take, and that way we can find out what we are about. Because in many ways, orchestras of this size, we just get together, we play for a week, and then we come back another time, we play different repertoire. So there is no consistency. But for me, as a music director, it's important that when we come to Savannah, we know what we are about. And so so not one concert, but the entire season is an interest of mine. And then just to see what the musicians do and then how I can apply that for the next season and the following season.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking forward to the Vaughan Williams on the concert where the Poulenc is too.
It's one of my very favorite pieces. Such beautiful writing and very rewarding to play. Lots of long bows and just filling the sound of the violin into the voices. It's so pretty, that music. So
I agree.
Great. Tell me why you enjoy playing with Savannah Philharmonic.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I love being able to travel and perform with Andrea. That's a very unique experience for any couple, but for two musicians to be working in the same organization is a real treat. We've had some really wonderful relationships. Do have some really wonderful relationships with our colleagues in the orchestra and people in the audience, and business owners, shop owners, restaurant owners. I mean, we just love going to Savannah and getting to play with such wonderful musicians. It's just a real treat.
Yeah. I think that's probably a really, really big part of it for me too, being getting to work with Brian, which if you were to ask me about one of the things I miss when I'm not in Savannah, I might say my husband. Because
that's
we're
wonderful.
going in the direction a lot. And I've made some friends. We live everywhere, as you know, and getting to be with them and make music with them at such a high level has been a real gift and a reward for our work. So.
Wonderful. Do you have any other questions for me?
How are you with all this going on? Your time is being filled up with lots of organizational things that you probably didn't expect to be dealing with so soon in your tenure with the Philharmonic. How are you managing being on the other, being so far away and dealing with these new logistical issues?
I wanted to be very hands-on with the organization. So from the moment of my appointment, I was in communication with the staff and the board heavily. And we have done a lot of positive things because I've been involved. And, of course, with this current situation, everyone's home. And so everyone's working via, video chatting. And so it really doesn't matter where I am. I'm in Tokyo right now, but we're able to chat and we're able to continue working and making sure, we're preparing for next season. So the rhythm hasn't really changed. And I'm just excited. I'm very much enjoying getting to know our board members and our staff, and then in these interviews, the musicians better. The opportunity to get to know the musicians so limited when we are in rehearsal. So I really wanted to do these interviews on my own time so that I get to know you more than just in the rehearsal setting. So I'm enjoying it. And plus I have so much time, and everyone does too, right? So.
Well, thank you for all this work that you're doing behind the scenes and your wonderful ideas and bringing everyone together. Everyone is really looking forward to next season working with you.
Yeah.
Very much.
Thank you. Do you have anyone that you would like to give a shout out to that might be watching this interview?
Well, we would like to give a shout out to Aaron and Jim Waterman, who have been our hosts for 5 years. 5 years, and they are just unbelievably wonderful human beings and have been so gracious with us and donors of the symphony, and just we miss them when we're not there.
The Watermans have been they've been moving and renting homes and renovating a new one over the past year and a half, and they've taken us with them
to all their new
rental homes.
Wonderful.
Like pieces of furniture or something.
So yes, we're very fortunate to know them. As Brian said, they are generous people, generous of spirit, especially. We're very thankful for them. And I have chair sponsors, the Bolches, Dr. Sidney Jefferson Bolch and Mrs. Bolch. Sorry, and I'm sorry I never say that out loud, so I apologize if I'm mangling that. It's always something I read.
Okay.
But especially given the uncertainty of things right now, I'm very thankful for them.
And I also want to give a shout out to Billy Purvis, who cuts my hair when I'm in Savannah. And so I'm getting a little like, you know, that May concert, I always tell him I won't see you for a few months.
Uh-huh.
So I haven't seen him since February. So I don't know, by September, I may have a situation on top of my head that poor Billy deal with. So.
That's awesome. Oh, it's a couple more months until your haircut, but just keep it growing. I'm sure he'll love to see you when you come back in September. Well, thank you both so much for your time to do this interview, and I just can't wait to continue making music with you starting this fall.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to it.
Be safe, and
you.
And your family.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys too.